All right, everybody. So welcome back to another video here. So now what I want to do is just kind of give my honest opinion and thoughts on the New England Patriots free agency so far. So looking into the Patriots 2022 free agency so far, I want to say that so far, I think that our free agency has been pretty average, if I'm being honest here, because the only two signings that we got, I think, right in free agency is that Bill Belichick, particularly, since he's the one that makes all the decisions. The only two things he got right, in my opinion, were that, he brought back Trent Brown and, he signed Malcolm Butler. So obviously, he brought back Malcolm Butler as a temporary or, maybe a long-term. Well, I don't think Malcolm Butler is going to be a long-term replacement for J.C. Jackson, but I guess Bill Belichick decided to sign Malcolm Butler to a 2-year deal to, compensate for the loss of J.C. Jackson because, we lost J.C. Jackson in free agency. And, Patriots last offseason, we had one of the highest salary caps in free agency. And it makes you wonder, like, why didn't Bill Belichick just use that high salary cap money to re-sign J.C. Jackson and, get Mac Jones some actual receivers, because going back to last free agency, the only signing that Bill Belichick really got right, well, the only two signings he got right last free agency, in my opinion, are the Matt Judon signing and getting Kendrick Bourne from the Niners, because Kendrick Bourne, he's actually been a really good receiver for the Patriots I think he's been a really good slot receiver for the Patriots, in my opinion, because Kendrick Bourne, he had a decent season, and I really am wondering, like, is Bill Belichick gonna address the receiver need in the draft or no? Because something tells me that Bill Belichick is most likely going to maybe draft a receiver. However, I'm not going to get my hopes up on that just because, Bill Belichick doesn't really have a history of drafting, the best receivers and all that stuff. But I'm hoping that, Bill Belichick maybe trades up in the drafts and gets Mac Jones, an actual good receiver that can stretch the field up and down and all that stuff. Because, really, Mac Jones has proven this past season that he is the legit real deal, so far he's proven to be the best quarterback in the quarterback draft class of 2021. So, it's like Bill Belichick needs to finally realize that, if he can get Mac Jones some weapons, then maybe Mac Jones can, put up Aaron Rodgers like, or even Tom Brady like numbers if he just had a good receiving corps to throw the ball to, because our receivers are pretty average, and the only other good player on our offense, in the passing game besides Kendrick Bourne, in my opinion, is Hunter Henry, and that's about it. Just because the rest of the players on our offense just, are really underperforming. Especially like a lot of the other guys that we signed last season in free agency, like a lot of those players have underperformed for the Patriots. And the only receiver that I think we gotten so far in the offseason was getting Ty Montgomery. That's right, we signed him for a 2-year deal, and I'm assuming that Bill Belichick picked up Ty Montgomery was for depth. Now, if you look at the receivers in this free agency, it's like Bill Belichick, he had a chance to get Amari Cooper, Allen Robinson, even Tyreek Hill, but Tyreek Hill's offseason issues, I think, are a big reason why Bill Belichick decided not to pursue him, because Tyreek Hill, he has a history of having offseason issues, particularly that whole thing from a couple of years ago. That's why I think he didn't go after Tyreek Hill. But there was Amari Cooper, Allen Robinson, and also even that receiver from the Packers, I can't think of his name, Devontae Adams. Yeah, Devontae Adams. So it's like even the Raiders went after a receiver and they got Devontae Adams. And hey, I think that Derek Carr, he has better weapons on offense, in my opinion, than Mac Jones does. And I know some people think I'm capping, but this is no cap, because it's like you look at the Raiders, even the Raiders addressed one of their biggest needs, and that is, to get a receiver that can be a good replacement for Amari Cooper, especially after what happened with Henry Ruggs and that, DUI crash. Like, even the Raiders addressed the move, while it seems like that Bill Belichick did nothing to address, the receiver position need for the Patriots. So I'm just wondering whether he's going to do this in the draft 1 month from now on or no, because really, dude, Bill Belichick doesn't have Tom Brady on the team anymore, okay? Where, Tom Brady can just make any average receiver look good. And I'm guessing that maybe Bill Belichick is still holding the notion that, maybe Mac Jones can develop into a Tom Brady-like quarterback and make any average receiver look good. But it's like, I don't think that's the case right now, okay? Because Mac Jones, he ain't no Tom Brady, okay? So it would be really wise if Bill Belichick would finally, do the right thing and get Mac Jones some actual receivers, an actual Pro Bowl receiver, not some average receiver, no, just an actual good receiver that can, stretch the field and be a consistent receiver, one that can create separation from defenders, because this is what is, in my opinion, the biggest area of need for the New England Patriots. And it seems like Bill Belichick just hasn't done that in free agency, and it's probably because of our limited salary cap, because, we had all that salary cap last season, but, I think that we could have just save up our salary cap and spend it in this offseason, because, it makes you wish that Patriots, the amount of salary cap that Patriots had last offseason, it makes you wish that they could have it right now, especially, with all the available receivers on the free agent market, Amari Cooper, Allen Robinson, the list goes on, and Bill Belichick has not done that at all. So I was just all for us getting either of those receivers that I mentioned in this video. Like, even if we got one of those receivers, like, that would have made life for Mac Jones so freaking easier, dude. Like, it's not even funny. So far this offseason and this free agency for the Patriots has been pretty mediocre, okay? I'm just being honest here. And another need that I think we could use is, get ourselves a solid linebacker to pair up with Dante Hightower. It's like Bobby Wagner. He's out there on the market. No team has even signed him, and I'm surprised that no team has signed Bobby Wagner, because Bobby Wagner, he's one of the best linebackers in the NFL, and, the fact that no team signed him at all is really shocking, so it's like, if Bobby Wagner is out there on the market, and if we can afford him, then why doesn't Bill Belichick go after him? Like, Bobby Wagner, imagine him and Dante Hightower and Matt Judon on the same team. Like, yeah, that would be a big impact for our defense, especially since our defense against Buffalo completely got exposed. Like, we need to fix the defense too, but the main area of need is to get Mac Jones some weapons. So yeah, that's the video. Nothing much else to say here about the Patriots offseason free agency so far. So let's see what happens in the draft, and if anything big happens, then of course I'm going to make a video about it. But right now, what Bill Belichick is doing, it kind of doesn't make sense, especially since he doesn't have Brady anymore. So yeah.